current supporter of the current government. It's not about support. People are completely frustrated. And I will tell you this. One reason why I would support the protests going on in principle is people need to exhale. I think we should have learned a lesson from what happened in Adamawa when people just went on the rampage. And I wouldn't be too surprised if the government doesn't have a hidden endorsement of this whatever it is. I gave a hint of that yesterday because sometimes part of governance is to manage the opposition. That, okay, let the NLC demonstrate today, maybe it would calm down. Because I don't think these very strong and vehement supporters of this government actually have a clear understanding of what people are going through. Here you are, the president's speech, he didn't talk about doing anything. The immediate things, he kept being futuristic. What are you doing about the refineries? Nothing. What is your policy on cutting governance, at least for the visual ops? Nothing. These things that are immediate, virtually nothing in place. And the president himself, he was nice enough to have recognized that they made a false start. Go and read that speech again. It was nice of him to admit. So don't misadvise this man and push him. We need to handle our president gently. Look at what is happening in West Africa now. After giving, you see, because nobody is going to be saying his ECOWAS are giving threat. They'll be pointing at the head. So they're saying, okay, it's Nigeria that's gave a 7-day ultimatum. As I yesterday, Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso, which is the fourth country, they withdrew from ECOWAS and said, if you go anywhere near Niger, you will have us to contend with. The silliest part of all what is going on. Africans, my people, I don't know who will save us. Some demonstrators were demonstrating in Niger, okay, against the French. And we're carrying Russia. So you want to go from one whatever to another. That is high-wire international politics, and we need to caution our president. We can't afford to get involved. We have so many problems. Our house is so weak here that we can't afford to stretch our neck into another problem. But that's another story. Back to today's own, I suspect it would go on. The report I got this morning at about 6:45 is there's been some kind of blockade around Costain now. We do not know whether it is the protesters or the just the area boys or whatever. You might end up having a lot of that, but you might end up thanking the NLC for, like I said initially, allowing people to excel. Too many people are walking around with nothing to eat. And therefore, for those of us who are privileged, we need to watch what we say, and we need to sympathize and not think that, they're a complete nuisance. But so I see that irritation in some contributions. Somebody said is a Labour Party matter. I mean, what are we talking about here? This thing that is on the ground now, go and listen to what the I think it was the chief imam of the Sulere Mosque said. The video has gone viral. Go and listen to him. This thing doesn't know anybody. It just knows there are some people, as it happens in all situations, some are luckier than others. But generally, it's a leveling ground now. And that is the approach. So, I mean, it would go on. But, of course, I hope it doesn't have... That's the part that bothers me. Because at the end of the day, people who are not directly concerned are the ones who are going to bear the brunt. Remembering what happened, years back at the NSAS. So I call on Labour, and also protest is a part of democracy. More so if you don't have a well-organized opposition, then civil societies and whatever take over. And that's the way it is. We must learn and admit to ourselves whether we want democracy or not. Once you say you want democracy, protest is a part of it. The police, of course, I like what the IG said here. And the statement from the police. And it says that the IGP, however, acknowledges the grievances raised by the labor unions and the importance of constructive dialogue, which is sine qua non in addressing these issues. It's a very profound statement. Whether it doesn't mean it is neither here nor there. That's what it's quoted to have said. And then he says, in the light of this, the IGP orders commissioners of police and so on and so forth, the normal police rhetoric. As at yesterday, the federal government was still appealing to Labour to call off. I think what most of us should do. I'm not saying go demonstrate. You probably don't have to or whatever. But in your spirits, let's also use it as a time of reflection. This country cannot continue like this. We must look for a super. Do not turn us into Haiti that is almost wiped off the map. Those who ask yourself how many, with every 50 people that you count, ask yourself how many could have been affected. I heard people saying that they were switching off their phones. They were no longer picking their calls. That is from the less fortunate. So what do the less fortunate do? That's the question. But in Lagos, I hear NURTW have lowered the, not NURTW, Lagos Parks or whatever it is, what's this gentleman's name now?
What is that?
Luca Brasi, call him Luca Brasi. Let me go. I think I need a break. I think I did a break. I'm getting a bit tired in the head. Okay, so the NLC here also says that, but it's been said that transport fares will probably go down some notches by the big boss of the motor, whatever. And he has also said that his drivers are not going to join in the strike, that there'll be transport, but NUPENG is on strike.
Yeah.
Where's the petrol?
Exactly.
So if I were you, in all honesty, if I don't have much to do and I don't want to join the demonstration, I'll just stay home. Part of the problem is here, and is in the Punch, says Tinubu failed to acknowledge Nigerian suffering, says NLC. And the Nigerian Labour Congress has strongly criticized President Tinubu's Monday's address to the nation, stating that it completely disregarded the harsh realities faced by the majority of Nigerians and failed to acknowledge the profound hardships and suffering they have endured. He said the president's promises and assurances during the national broadcast were not the silver bullet that Nigerians expected, and I can say yes to that. Count me in that. The speech indeed appears to be out of touch with reality and anomalous with the hardship and suffering that most Nigerians are going through now. I think the president also, so he made a faux pas in the first one, made a false start in this ECOWAS thing. We need to check out what's going on. Nigeria is at stake. 200 and something million people are at stake. So it's not being polite or supportive of one man. In such a short time, two major, one acknowledged, the other one in the process. We need to check out what's happening. And when I saw the president's speech and I saw something like, oh, I want to get back to my office, I said, oh my God, here come the hype boys. Rather than facing, the president should have said something definite about the refineries. Definite. He should have acknowledged that, oh, we know the suffering we are going to go through, therefore our policy as far as governance is concerned is going to be this and that, and we are going to tell all the governors and local government chairmen to please do so likewise, and MDAs and so on and so forth. He didn't touch on any of those things. You know? And I want to go back to this. I want to go back to my office. When you put things like this and try to be, the times when phrases like this were used is not under this circumstance. Bad advisors again. We're back where we were. Anytime from now, we'll have the whalers and the hailers.
It says something about the infrastructure support fund that he approved for state governors, and he also asked them to please jump right into it and make life better for there are people. He mentioned that in his speech.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's where the Ogun State governor is taking all of those initiatives.
All of those initiatives from. But Zulum has started even before his speech.
Yes.
Look, at the end of the day, what do we want, Sheriff? All of us want we don't want an expensive life. A lot of us are middle class, we just want the basics of life. We don't want all this high-flying whatever. We are not even getting anything. Now it is so bad that we cannot even eat. You cannot eat. apart from the fact that one's expenditure has gone up, you now have to deliberately put money aside to feed certain people. And it's very bad. And I'd like people to appreciate that what we have now is we are in the times of hunger. And people are not going to look at any futuristic 2024. They want something to make them survive to that 2024. You know, which I don't think was properly addressed. Also, the issue, where did all this come from? Petrol subsidies. What are the things that can make you whatever? Refineries. Are you renovating upgrading the refineries? No answer. Are you selling them? No answer. So what happens? People start speculation. Speculation has not started, as some people waiting in the wings to dive in and buy these refineries at a completely cracked down price. We don't know. You understand? We don't know. But don't let's waste too much time on. Everybody knows what the issues are, and I think it's time we think Nigeria and not think APC or Tinubu or whatever, or OB or whatever. We should think Nigeria. People need to survive. Yes.
Let's move on. Let's move on to our next story.
You wanted to say something?
No, I wanted to say something, but then I looked at the time and I said, "Look, it's. I think
quickly,
it'll be
okay. I'll give you 2 extra minutes. Say it.
You're giving me time. I'm the host, too.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. I thought I was on my program. Okay, let's go.
I was gonna say that the government of Tinubu can follow the model NLNG is using. You know, that it's going to be a JV partnership thing. We don't have to sell our refineries outrightly.
Exactly.
We can work in conjunction with stakeholders, multinationals.
Reputable stakeholders.
Yes.
Not some Nigeria that will go and establish a company you've never heard of offshore and then come and reputable stakeholders.
And also this 1 billion that I was going to add that to it as well, that this 1 billion that the government is planning to give to 75 companies, I'd have loved if President Tinubu had said, you see, out of this 75 billion, we're going to, put aside about 30 billion to assist modular refinery companies to get on the road and get, working,
yes.
And all of that. The same way, the president is very, very intentional about rice, cassava, maize, and wheat. I think that it should be also intentional in terms of getting modular refineries to function and work and get their supplies and all of those things. That way we can, boost our local refining capacity and flood the market with fuel.
Even with the manufacturing companies, there must be a criteria by which you pick them.
Oh yes.
Because in the past we've seen briefcase companies take advantage. Of course, politicians, they're always lying in wait for things like this. They take the money and they disappear completely. I'm worried though. I won't lie to you. When I saw the development in ECOWAS yesterday, I got worried that certain persons need to quickly intervene in governance in this country. What I mean by intervene is going to meet the president, sitting him down, the likes of Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, elders like that who know.
The elders.
Because you've made a mistake in the first one. This is the second one in a short time. That you know what the decision you've taken, you might have to retract it, because I don't think he's going to be doing anything in 7 days. And you don't issue threats in vain. It's not nice and neither do we want to be dragged in, because we can't afford it. It's not even just about money. You have just taken over Nigeria at a problematic time. Is the 24/7 job.
It is though.
It is.
Let's go pick up our next story. I think there's one story inside there, Abby. Have we taken it?
No.
We're taking it, Abby. Okay.
Two of us are tired. This was the story. Now, I think I'll go on break next week. Just go for
incidentally, I'm thinking of going on break too.
No, let me go first. Don't you know I'm older than you? Thank you, Papa. Uncle. If that comes to that door now, you say, let's take the ministry. He's older, so I'll go for. I can't.
Yeah.
You know, it was MC Oloma's name I was trying to remember.
Oh, okay.
He made an announcement that they will drop fares and so on and so. As far as I'm concerned, we have no business having touts running all over the place. Because rhetoric is one thing, reality is the other. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Let's go to page 8 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Let's see. What story are we looking at here?
Sheriff, the time has come. If we don't leave this place, we'll be thrown out of
Let's
the
take
studio.
this. He said the time has come.
I'm just fact that time has come.
Okay, let's not update each other. Let's go to the Vanguard newspaper. Don't mind us. We couldn't find something. Tinubu not interested in revamping Nigerian refineries. Ipman. That's the story here on page 12
Well,
of
so
the
that
Vanguard
I think
newspaper.
we've said just about enough
yes,
on
yes.
that, so we don't.
Right.
Yes.
All right, let's move on to page 8. Yoruba elders to monarchs. Stop desecrating our traditions.
Oh yes, and I'm ready to join them in that fight. As you can see, where my support lies there, but this is the part that interested me, and I want to read out to you. The Yoruba Traditional Elders Committee, in a communique by its secretary, Dr. Laiwola Adegunlosun, stated that ancestral gods will hunt down traditional rulers disrupting traditions and values they ordinarily should be protecting. I hope that happens. Because look, okay, so I'm a Christian, yes, but if you want to be a traditional ruler, you must be ready to be a custodian of our culture and traditional religion and practices. Because if you isn't it contradictory that on the one hand, some went to a pulpit and were preaching in a church. One of the traditional rulers, I saw the video yesterday. I put it on my Facebook page. He excused them. He said his people shouldn't be too annoyed with him, or that because since he became Oba, he has had to wear 1.5 million naira shoes. I'm telling you, 1.5 million naira shoes. And Oba telling his people.
Wow.
In this. That's why I say, you see, a lot of them are too far away. Something has gone into our head you are telling our people, Emma Binusimi, because of you that I'm wearing 1.5 million naira shoes. What kind of thinking is that?
Oh my.
In the midst of this hunger.
Oh my.
And the alphas who surrounded him were all nodding their head. Yes, I'm stating it clearly. They were nodding their heads. That's why I say
maybe he was joking.
He was joking, but that was what he was. He was sure that if he had gold, he had expensive clothes on. And he said it. And he was surrounded by some Muslim alphas, because he claims he is a Muslim. He doesn't like the traditions that we have, doesn't believe in them. And yet he's an Oba. 1.5 million naira shoes. Excuse me, go to my Facebook, you see it there. No.
Don't shame me. God no go shame us.
It's true. Don't let me.
Don't shame me. Let me hide my leg.
I thought you went for the reception in American embassy. Luckily, when we are dressed here, you don't know what is under. You just see the top.
That's good. It's very good.
News.
Let's go to the Metro page of the Punch.
Well, Metro page or no Metro page, I'm sure you heard that. By now, you know that the plane went down in the middle of the road in Ikeja yesterday. Now, that is a very, very, it's a frightening development. And I'm going to bring my good friend Horace to talk about it, Horace Jaja to talk about it on Saturday. So it's a light plane, fair enough. It could have been any plane.
It could have.
That's why I'm always, when I joke and say that if you're not worried that, it's for the elite and so on and so forth, it could fall on your head. We were so lucky. But how did somebody catch the video of that plane crashing? Did you know it was coming
I saw a video, but that video, I think it's a CCTV video. Yeah, that's the footage.
Yes,
the CCTV footage, yes.
I'm getting ancient. I think you should pack me up. So that's what we thank God that nobody actually died.
Yeah.
But I don't want to imagine what would have happened if it was during traffic on Ikorodu Road and so on and so forth. Okay, so on Saturday we'll look at that and see. And because the first thing that struck me, I mean, as an ordinary person, was, could this have been a result of the adulterated fuel that we were talking about in aviation fuel? The adulteration in aviation fuel. Could this be the result?
Investigation is ongoing.
Yes.
We'll find out.
No, I didn't say that. I am saying. I said it. It came to my mind.
Okay.
Both of us did a break. Okay, let's get in the punch. Danfo drivers begin 25% fare slash today. We'd like that confirmed before the end of the day. It will be good news. Attackers of Osun Church during vigil arrested. Killer, oh my God, look at this fine boy. Killer of 2-year-old Delta boy in custody, say police. Why did they kill him? He was killed by a stray bullet. Oh my God. Suspect says Ondo cop knocked down in error. It's all about death. Leke Adeboye, I think this must be Pastor Adeboye's son, gives worshippers free fuel. I must go and worship in his church. Give worshippers free fuel and food. Okay, he says,
noble.
I'm too excited to even read the thing.
Really
he said the lead pastor of Redeemed Church of God, the Bridge, Ikeja, on Sunday, fueled the cars of church members. Ari? This is where I'm going to worship on Sunday. I'm telling you, I will get there.
It's quite noble. Yeah.
It's quite noble.
Yeah.
Was to assist the worshippers amid the hike in the price of PMS. The statement said in the spread. It was an unusual church service on Sunday for many members of the LSC, the Bridge, one of the ICC's vibrant youth churches, led by Pastor Leke Adeboye. So I don't know. He hasn't told me to invite people on Sunday.
You think that what you mentioning it now will not allow, will stop anybody from going?
You can try. But for those of you who are Muslims, don't forget your tesbih in your pocket when they say bring out your hands.
I am not sure he would discriminate. He would give everybody, and we are not saying that you should.
Put your tesbih in your pocket and say, raise up your hands and thank the Lord. On my man. You remember there was a party though where some socialite fuel. Have you forgotten?
Yes.
Prosecuted by the Lagos government. Yes. So Leke Adeboye now is going to have this thing in his church, and I don't know if it's going to be repeated on Sunday.
I saw one too that they were distributing bags of rice, and I'm wondering, so for guests who didn't come to that party with their own vehicles, how are they supposed to take those bags away?
They'll give you a whole bag.
A whole bag.
What?
I think it's about it's 25 kg or I'm not sure. Like big bags.
Did you see the bag?
Yes.
I don't kidding.
I am not kidding.
You want to stop?
Oh, Uncle Jimmy, you think I'm lying? I saw the video. They were loading bags inside the hall like this. And we're putting it beside people's.
It was the shareholders' meeting of the right.
I like your share committee. I mean, there's nothing that we cannot share, especially down here.
No, during the COVID era, apart from the few incidents of people hijacking whatever, it shows the good spirits of Nigerians. The way they gave out palliatives and so on and so forth. And the Lagos State too, did quite well. Of course, it was sabotaged by politicians, sabotaged by their own people. But in principle, I think we need something like that. No, we don't need it because I don't want to put. Okay.
You see, someone said it's 50 kg. I was even trying to be, modest by saying 25 kg. 50,
you are not being
people
modest. You are being careful.
People were like, they were loading. I was like, So how do you want this lady now that you're putting this bag beside her? How do you want her to carry this bag out?
Dear.
Let's take our last story as we prepare to go, Jerry. We have this editorial here in the Punch that says, NSAS mass burial reopens the need for new probe.
There's a whole lot of pros reading what happened there. Let me just go straight to conclusion. That is that to resolve you, there should be another independent inquiry. Conducted by who? What another independent inquiry? Since the government has referred to findings of its own journal, the point is just who will then conduct the inquiry? I'm not going to ask us. And the October 20 used in remembrance of 2020 to work with the Department of Police and military making violations of rights, freedom of expression and assembly. And harassment of some of the prominent NSAS voices, freezing their account, seizing their passport, and continuing aspects of subject government. The police officers and other special activities priests is repeated. Civil conditions, the first should not relent until this is done. Government come clean and conciliation. That's the journey of African government today. But to what is going on in something happened in Syria, no. The natural mistake is going. Okay? What we are told traditionally is that when the wind blowing, you have a typhoon or whatever, you give it the trees. If the typhoons are, when they have a typhoon or hurricane, it's not because they always just go like that. It goes all the balance. We need to be calm. We need to think. Now, if you're going to speak in public, you better be careful. Nigeria is in a very tense moment. You better be careful. And, let us all just remain calm and quiet, God is in control.
Indeed. We have to leave it here for now. Thank you so much for coming, sir. You're back at 9.
Hopefully.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Oh, well, let's take a break. We will be speaking with our correspondents in Abuja, in Port Harcourt. We'll be speaking with Labour in Lagos here. We'll be speaking with former Labour leader as well. Let's get into it. The protest by Labour starting today. Stay here on Nigeria Info 99.3.
Radio plus information, news, sports, and current affairs equal to 99.3 Nigeria Info. Your radio station of the year. Let's talk.
And I want to assume that you would run because I want to give the listeners context for the conversation.
In 2019, you were running mate to Atiku Abubakar. What did you learn then that you will not repeat this time?
Yes, when is the president coming out to address us?
There's a few things. One, I have a burden and a passion for young people.
The fact that you have elected a man does not mean then you begin to order him around. The president will do whatever is good for the country at any given time.
Mr. Adeshino, isn't the president responsible to the people?
What should the next president do to root out stakeholders who are complicit?
You fire those that need to be fired are fired. It's looking like a brand new Chelsea, attacking with so much fluidity. And what can you say about that, Martin? I know you follow Chelsea quite closely.
I live close to the Chelsea training ground. That's what you mean by that. I'm not.